Surrey real estate values in the last 10 years have grown a staggering 40 to 60%. This created a no-lose environment for anybody that was buying a home or investing in a home in the city of Surrey. But activity was completely decimated in the spring of 2022 when the Bank of Canada started raising its overnight interest rates and sales flew absolutely flat. No, forget that. They didn't fell flat. They fell like a landslide. Since then, we have been seeing massive price drops, massive concessions by sellers to attract home buyers, and home buyers just generally struggling to sell their homes in the more challenging real estate environment. Surrey's property values have never looked worse. And the question that I am left with is now the perfect time to buy based on where we've been and where we might be going? Are we done this topsy-turvy market of challenging home sales and declining prices? Now, I know what you're thinking. This isn't just another video trying to pump up the market, trying to sell more homes, trying to boost the optimism that is out there. Now, just cool it and hear me out. For those of you that are sitting on the fence about getting into your next home, whether it's your first home or your 10th home in the city of Surrey, you're gonna wanna watch this video. Give me 10 minutes to show you what I have learned in this process, and this information may completely flip your world upside down in terms of what your next steps might be, whether you decide to wait or buy your next home. If that sounds good, let's get into it. Hey, it's Darren here. If you're thinking of moving to Surrey, White Rock, or any of the surrounding suburbs, subscribe below so you can be the first to learn about the market and the areas. And like so many others, we've helped in the process of buying or selling a home. If you need help in the process, whether it's today or 6 months from now, use the link in the description to book a time to speak with me. We'll help you make sure that your move is the absolute best that it could ever be. You see, it all started in September of 2023 for me when I read an article published by CMHC. For those of you that don't know, CMHC stands for Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. They primarily are in the business of mortgage loan insurance for anybody putting down less than 20% on their mortgage, but they do so much more than that. They delve into research, exploring innovative strategies, collaborate with industry professionals and innovators, and fund affordable housing opportunities in Canada. So they released a report estimating that by 2030, Canada would need an additional 3.5 million homes to help keep up with the demand of housing in our country. The biggest opportunities are exactly where you would expect, in Ontario and British Columbia. One of the big problems right now is builds are down in many places. This is because of the immense cost of hiring labor, the crazy cost of the goods that actually go into the homes, and of course the lending rates to be able to buy the properties in the first place to be able to build on. 3.5 million homes is no joke, but it was further cemented by a more recent article from Business in Vancouver. Just published in February of this year, economists suggested that in British Columbia, we need approximately 700,000 more homes on top of what is already projected to be built just to bring affordability levels back to where they were in over a decade ago. To make problems even worse, we have a generation of millennials who are starting families and needing to increase their space. The one-bedroom condos just simply aren't cutting it for these people anymore. And if you've ever followed any of the news coming out from the federal government, you know that we've got record immigration set to come to this country over the course of the next 3 years to help boost and propel our economy forward. So the question that you might be asking is, if there is so much demand for housing, there's so many people that want to buy a home and need to buy a home in British Columbia, well, then why are prices falling? It just doesn't make sense. Back to earlier in the video, consider this, that the cost of borrowing since the spring of 2022 has almost tripled. Minimum wage in BC has just gone up yet again, but skilled laborers, they're not even making minimum wage. They are making significantly more than that, and they need to be paid well to build those projects that you need to buy a home in. And not only that, you've also got the cost of goods that is actually going into the construction of these properties. Everybody remembers how expensive the cost of building lumber got during the pandemic. Well, it's recovered, but it's still not great. Picture this, the value of detached homes in Surrey since the spring of 2022 have fallen off a cliff, dropping from the peak by almost $400,000 and are still down to this very day, over $200,000 less from the peak of 2022. Now, I know what you're thinking, and let's try and tie this back into the beginning of this video, where we're talking about the opportunity to find and buy a home right now. And well, you're probably thinking, Darren, look, the rates are still really high. It's quite unaffordable out there. You also might be thinking that there's lots of people that might need to sell their homes. Unfortunately, those people might not be able to keep up with their mortgage payments. They've been floating for a long time and they're about to go into the dreaded foreclosure. Now, hold on to that thought just for a moment, because that might not quite be true. And here's why.
Hey, real quick. I don't run any ads on my videos, intentionally anyways, and put in about 8 hours every week trying to bring you the very best content there is while keeping it somewhat entertaining too. The only ask that I have is that you help me spread the word on my videos so we can help more home buyers and sellers be wildly successful with real estate. Get it right the first time and dodge all the ways that people typically get burned when they buy or sell a home. Now, the only way that we can do that is if you give this video just a simple like to help other people like you find the content. That's the only thing we ask you to do. Don't even worry about subscribing. It will take you about 3 seconds and it would mean the absolute world to me, but more importantly, it may change the world for someone else. Thanks for clicking the like button, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.
You may be correct on one level that mortgage delinquencies, well, they are going up. A recent article from the Financial Post shows us that in BC, mortgage delinquencies are up 62% and are well above the pre-pandemic levels. So that's not good, but mortgage shock is a very real thing and something that we are experiencing right now as well. The article goes on to state that Equifax estimates that the average fourth quarter 2023 mortgage renewal was up $680 per month in British Columbia. $680 per month that people had to come up with new money to be able to satisfy their mortgage payments. But it's important to know that in BC, mortgage delinquencies and foreclosures have been declining steadily since 2013. You might think that this is a widespread problem, but it's really not. In British Columbia, as an example, only 0.11% of mortgages go into foreclosure. This is even less than the Canadian average of 0.15%. That means that for every 1,000 homes that are out there, only one in British Columbia is going into foreclosure. And this is less than the 6 to 7 homes per 1,000 that were going into foreclosure in the year 2013. This is for reasons like, number one, people have tons of equity in their homes if they bought pre-pandemic. Government policies that have been introduced, like in 2018 when the government released their mortgage stress test, making buyers qualify for higher mortgage payments by up to 2% just in case the mortgage rates went up in the future, which they did. This is also in conjunction with many new mortgage rules that have come out and been released in the last couple of years, mainly by the federal government. So foreclosures are actually considerably down. So you must be thinking, well, I've waited and I've waited and I've waited to buy my next home. I was waiting till the iron was hot to strike, waiting till the conditions were absolutely perfect to get into my next home. And if the affordability was there, well, it might just be that time. That's a pretty good question you're asking yourself right now. Is now the time to strike? Is now the time, the most opportune time to buy a house in Surrey, to buy a townhouse in Surrey, to buy a condo in Surrey? It doesn't matter, but is now the absolute best time that we've had in many, many years? Before you watch the rest of the video, leave your comment below and let me know, but you gotta promise me you're gonna watch the rest of this video because there's a few other things you're gonna wanna know first. Here's what's going on today. We have record inventory available in the city of Surrey, much so more than we did before the pandemic even started. There is lots of houses, lots of condos, and lots of townhomes available for purchase right now in the city of Surrey, many of them experiencing difficult conditions and offering price adjustments to help woo you, the buyer. Sales are also considerably down, not only in Surrey, but the entire Fraser Valley and Metro Vancouver. As an example, the most recent data that just came out from the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board suggests that sales are 21% below the 10-year average, meaning it is difficult to sell a home right now. You've also got inflation, which has been steadily cooling over the last 18 months, and the most recent data that has been released is suggesting that it has been good. This is also a reason why we just saw the first rate drop from the Bank of Canada in over 4 years. Now, I want you to imagine an ideal market for selling a home. There is tons of buyers who want your home and they don't have a lot to choose from. And ideally, money is quite cheap because the cheaper the money is, the more than they can afford to spend, and they're gonna throw caution to the wind a little bit. That is the ideal market to sell a home in. But what about the opposite? What's the opposite market that's beneficial to buy in? A market where most people sitting at home thinking of buying a property are still worried about the current mortgage rates. Even though they can afford to buy, they're waiting till they go down even further, kind of like today. This just may be the perfect time to strike for your next property in Surrey. Think about it. As money becomes cheaper, more buyers will enter the market. More buyers will be able to purchase the properties that are available. And there is a humongous backlog of buyers, just like the backlog that we talked about at the very beginning of this video. Furthermore, starting your mortgage today means that you are 1 year closer to actually paying that mortgage off in the next 25 years and not paying rent anymore. You are mortgage free. The funny thing about all this is some buyers have already figured this out, and many home sellers have figured this out as well. Possibly a reason why you're seeing so many properties come to the market right now, because they are reading the writing on the wall. The market is likely going to get much busier very soon, especially as money begins to become cheaper. I tell you all of this because I want you to be successful. Whether it's with working with the German group to help you find your next home, or whoever your real estate professional might be, you deserve to get the best property for you and your family at the most opportune time that's available. You now know that foreclosures aren't coming to the market. It's not to say that they don't exist, but they're not coming to the market nearly in the volume that most people think that they are or are going to. You also know that money is cheaper today than it was in the past, and we've got a very good chance that it's going to continue to get cheaper as the months progress. And lastly, you've got a massive backlog of people that want to buy homes, people that are coming to this country, and properties that are actually available for them. Sounds like pretty good conditions to me. You just might consider making your move now before you can't in the future. When the market in Surrey moves, it tends to move pretty fast. So what are the 3 takeaways that I want you to have from this video to help you be successful? Well, number 1, if you are completely new to the buying process and you know absolutely nothing about it, we are giving free access to our BC Home Buyers course. This is not limited to people in Surrey. This works anywhere in British Columbia to make sure you get the information that so many people don't get when they're buying a home. It's over 3 hours of video content, and we typically sell this for over $340. We're making it free to the viewers of our YouTube channel to help you do it better. So check that out. Number 2, we help people just like you buy and sell real estate every single day, even people that we meet from this YouTube channel. So if you're looking at buying or selling a home in the area that the German group services, book a time to speak with us and we'll help make sure your plans not only come to fruition, but you do everything in the absolute best fashion and get the best results possible. And the last one, well, just before you remember to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on any of the videos we are releasing on a regular basis about Surrey real estate, White Rock real estate, or BC real estate in general, you're gonna wanna watch this video right here, which is the exact version of our Home Buyers Mastery session that we take every single buyer through prior to them buying a home anywhere in British Columbia. Check it out, it's the next video in your playlist.